Thank you. All right, Michael. So just to restate your question, so it gets on the recording. I want to, what I hear is you're new, you're asking for reviews after you conduct a successful assignment. You've had a couple that you thought were committed to doing so, but they haven't. Did I get that right?
That's correct.
All right. And so what I'm going to tell you is it's a numbers game. Is that some people will just never do reviews. They don't want to, they don't want to deal with it. Some might say yes. And if they say yes, are you making it as easy for them as possible to do so? So for instance, are you maybe texting them the link to the platform? You want them to leave it on Google?
Yes, on the Google business profile. That's where I want the review.
And then,
I sent them a link, but I wasn't sure as to whether I needed to. Some people may be a little, not feeling that they could write a review, or do you need to send them some suggestions as some things they might say, or
well, I'm going to speak.
no, I see Jen Bruno shaking her head no.
So hold on, Michael, let me get in there.
Go ahead.
I'm going to speak to you personally. I do not suggest what they should write because it's not really an honest review when I'm telling think they should be saying about me.
Right.
That's my perspective, may not be everybody's perspective. Also, I don't follow up. I make it as easy as possible. And then I know it's a numbers game. So the more people I ask, some of them, some portion, it might only be 2 in 10, actually take the action, and which that's normal to take the action to do the review. So I don't think it sounds like you're doing the right things, and you're only choosing to ask those that, it was a good assignment, right? It wasn't something that you were late for the appointment or there were issues going on. So I think you're doing it right. I think you haven't put enough requests out there yet to see what that ratio will look like for you.
Okay.
But I do know that Jen does a lot with reviews herself. So Jen, do you know what your ratio is for how many people that you actually ask that they do it?
My ratio is probably maybe 4 out of 10. And the only follow-up I will ever do is I'll ask the question, just checking in, did the review link work for you? Because sometimes they just need a reminder, and I don't want to badger them either. And there's other thought about reminding them a couple times. That's it for me. You do it, you don't do it. I'm going to give you maybe one, especially if it's somebody who we had a really great appointment and like, I really want that review because we really enjoyed each other or whatever. But one time, otherwise as long as you've given them a link they can use easy and you're not making them look for you, I wouldn't put too much effort outside of that in it and not get too hung up on it either. You will, as you go on, get plenty of reviews and she's right. You're going to see what your numbers are.
I have one more question related to that. What about asking for some people that know me for a character review? And I'm trying to get up past that 5 reviews, so I start to show up a little more in the ranking.
Yeah, and I think that's great. If you've got some people who can do a character review for you, I don't see anything wrong with that, especially when you're getting started. Sometimes that's where you have to start, is with a character review. So if there's a couple of those mixed in with the work-related reviews, then that's great. I don't think we want just a whole bunch of character reviews, but nobody that said they know what your work is like. Right. So I'd be careful about too many of those, but having a couple of those so that you bounce up a little bit is perfectly fine.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Tamara. Tell us where you're from, Tamara.
Good afternoon. My name is Tamara, and I'm from Florida, Tampa, Florida.
Florida again. Okay.
Yes, Florida. My question is, I have 16 documents that someone wants notarized. I would have to attach an acknowledgement or a jurat because there is no information, basically no notarial information on the form. Do I have to attach one to each piece of paper because they want each page notarized.
All right, so if each page has a signature to it, then you would be attaching a certificate to every single page. Do you know if they're signing every page?
So it's for a doctor's office and they want every claim signed. There is no space on there for any type of notarial information. So when they sent it to me and asked me, I looked at it and I was like, oh, wow, they want every page signed. And in order to do that, I would have to attach a jurat or an acknowledgement.
Right.
So that was my question. And then I would just have to put information on that, on the jurat or the acknowledgement stating what the document is, just to prevent some type of fraud, correct?
Right, you would put the name of the document and perhaps the page number that it belongs to. So yeah, you could notarize every single one, but every single one requires a signature because you're not certifying the document. You're verifying that the person who appears in front of you is the one who signed the document. That's what your acknowledgement is saying, or that they signed it in front of you. That's what the jurat is saying.
Okay. And my other question is, I've been going back and forth with the e-notarizations, becoming an, and I just wanted to get, to see if how's everyone doing with that? If those who are participating with that, who became the e-notaries.
Are you talking about Ron?
Yes, the Ron, yes.
Okay, so what you're asking for is, how is it going for notaries who are using Ron right now in their business? So that's a great group question. I've got people from all over the states. I'm sure a lot of them are using Ron. So if you could put a comment in the chat about, is that primarily the business you're doing now, or is that just another way, another method that you're notarizing? Are you having any issues with doc prep or the platforms? Anything you want to offer there, or a recommended platform? These are all things that the group today, and there's 100 of us here.
Okay.
I can't, and so look at the chat and see what people are offering you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'd offer you something, but I don't have Ron yet in California, so I cannot tell you anything.
Okay, someone's already responded. Thank you, Amy.
Oh, yeah, guys, please take a moment. If you've got any information to share that you like, you don't like, something to watch out for, it would be helpful to this notary. Okay, I'm going to go to John. Hey, John Enriquez in California. You're my peeps. How you doing? I'm Mike.
Yes, I am. It was nice meeting you at that meeting over here
Yeah,
in
it was.
close to us. Anyways, can I throw in my 2 cents to that guy that was asking about the Google reviews?
Uh-huh.
Then maybe Jen can, I don't know. At the beginning, I was adamant about trying to get those 5 stars.
Yeah.
And I never ask, do you believe you were given 5-star service? Unless after the signing, they make a specific comment like, wow, you made this easy for me, or wow, can I use your card? Can I have a card for a future? They have to say something extra than thank you for me to say, well, would you agree that I did a 5-star? I say something like that, a 5-star service. And then if they say, of course, and then while I'm checking the documents, I send them the link and I have them do it there. And then the problem is I'm missing 56 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
And this is based on them showing me on their phone saying, here, done. And then I thank them profusely. Or people, when I've left, they've sent me screenshots of them doing it on their phone, and it shows my logo. It shows my, like it would show. Never shows up on my side. And I've had 56 instances of that where it never shows up on my side. And then at the beginning, I checked Google, and Google, they never tell you what's wrong on their side. They just send you a list of these are our policies and these are our.
I'm
Somebody
not.
needs to be muted. I'm sorry. Somebody needs to be.
I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with them.
Oh, sorry. So all Google does, they never answer you why it didn't.
Yeah,
go.
well, I mean, that could be good for you, but nah.
Thank you.
Virginia, you keep unmuting. Can you please mute your phone?
So
Yeah.
So Google, all they do is send you back their policy. There's no way to fix, to get those reviews that you earned. So even if you earn them and do an outstanding job, Michael, you might not get them on your side. And I've already talked to Jim. I took the Google Business
That ball in hand.
outstanding training. And he says, yeah, it happens sometimes. You won't get them, even though you've earned them.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes think about other platforms. It doesn't have to all go to Google. So think of other platforms. If you remember the BBB, I have a platform there where I have reviews. I have Notary.com, I have there. I have Google, I have Yelp. I have a lot of different platforms where it could go. So if you're having problems with that, then sometimes you got to look to see where else can you put them. And, you know, I know Google is a big pain. They're also a great source of jobs. And of course, they're free. You know, I mean, the thing is, this is free service. So it's really hard to press them to say, hey, you need to fix this or you need to do this for me. And that's kind of a pain. I know it. That's why that's only half of the equation. The other half of the equation is, you know, people and relationships so that they don't go there to find you. There's other ways to find you.
And you don't want to bother the signer. I mean, if it's not going through, you don't want to press them and have them go through a lot. So, you know, I've just said, let it go so that they're not bothered.
Exactly. Okay. So I'm just going to make an announcement. Please watch your phones because we can hear every word you say when you're not muted on that personal business call that you're doing. All right. So we'll try to catch it and put the mute button on ourselves. But I just want you to know, we know all your business when you don't mute yourself. Okay. Michael, are you? No, you don't have your hand up. So I don't see any other hands up right now.
I did have a little more
Oh,
to
you
say
did have
about
one
that.
more thing? Okay, go ahead.
But it was that, well, from all the trainings and everything, you know, it felt like that until you establish a lot of relationships, that a majority of your work that people will find you on Google profile when they're, you know, looking for a notary. So that's why I feel that, you know, the reviews are important, and I'm taking Jim Allen's course, but
It is
you know,
important.
to work that to the utmost.
It is important, Michael. I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying is just don't let that be your only egg.
Oh,
Right? There are
well,
other
no.
options besides that. And so make sure that if you're having issues with this one, that you're not ignoring all the other ones. That's like what I'm saying.
I just want to throw out there that I developed a talk on identity theft and started handing out flyers around at some of the senior networking meetings and some of the condo communities and such. So I'm waiting for that to help me get out in front of people.
Good.
So it's a pretty easy thing to set up. There's PowerPoint presentations online that you can use, and I just thought it might be a good vehicle because I'm mainly working in South Florida and I want to, you know, work within the senior community.
Yeah, good ideas. And, you know, it takes time. You know, it's not like it was during COVID where I open my door and say, I'm a notary now, and business just comes flooding in. It just doesn't work like that. Right now, we have to work for it. And it takes time to build relationships. It takes time to go out and hand out the flyers and to do all this stuff. But that's what it takes. It does take that. We can't just rely on SEO, although SEO is a big part of the equation. And then within the SEO, within that, we've got Google, who's the monster, but then we've got other options as well. So I want to make sure that we're thinking about everything that we're doing towards getting the business. Okay, Valerie. Hi, Valerie.
Hi, Laura. I just have a quick question. I was speaking with another notary recently, and he advised me that when he utilizes acknowledgements or jurats, that he charges separately the client for that. And I have never heard that. And I wanted to know, is that a common thing that maybe I missed learning about? That
No,
there's a charge?
No, we're not supposed to charge that. That's what your notary fee covers.
That's
And
what I thought.
That's
But
illegal.
my husband needed a notary and I couldn't do it. And when he went to the other notary, they charged him for the notary plus charged him for the acknowledgement form.
Not allowed.
That's what I thought.
State that would allow it. That's why they developed, notary fees in the first place, to cover the expenses, to offset the expense of the notarization. And that would include the certificate.
Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you for bringing that up. I bet there's others that didn't know that. Fantastic. Okay, Phil, hi.
Hey, Laura, good to see everybody. And Michael, just FYI, I do a lot of those type of presentations, and the FTC has some great leave behind materials that you can use if you haven't already done that. Anyone who does work in the identity theft world, the FTC and the feds have all kinds of money they've spent, our good hard-earned money they've spent for us to get the information out to people, because I do a lot of stuff with Rotaries and philanthropic groups and old places of different types of folks. So a great resource, Michael. But I do want to invite everybody this afternoon, 5 minutes after the end of this presentation, I will be doing a little Zoom. My phone number is in my title. It's also in the chat. But I will teach you how to protect and grow your business, how to develop another source of income if that's what you're looking for. I work with a lot of great folks here. I know Jen's probably already doing it, because I know Jen is really good at getting that information out there. So Jen, thanks, Jen. I appreciate that. But always a pleasure to see everybody. Always a pleasure to work with this great group of notaries. And I look forward to seeing some of you 5 minutes after TNT is over. Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome. My pleasure. And I just want to say, because now Phil said something that I want to piggyback on, which is that one of the things I have done and am doing is that I speak at Rotary, I speak at Soroptimist, I speak at these civic organizations, because first of all, they're always looking for speakers on some piece of value about notarization or something related in that field. I'm not there to sell anything. I'm not there to say, use me as your notary. I'm there to provide education. However, you're getting in front of business owners, right? Which is really important. And now you have a reason to be chit-chatting with them over lunch instead of knocking on their door to try to get eyeball to eyeball with them, right? Because people are like, oh, I'm afraid. What if they don't want to let me in? What if they're too busy? Well, if they're at that meeting, you've got a natural opportunity. And some of my business connections, that's where they started, were with these civic groups. Same thing with church groups, any groups where you can get in front of them and talk about something of value to that group. So please don't forget that piece of it, especially because we're in an in-person world again. So consider that as well. Peter, Illinois. Hey, Peter, good to see you.
Hi there, how you doing?
Super fantastic.
Good. Question about apostees. And I'm starting to get some momentum with them. I'm doing maybe one a week or two a week, and it's getting kind of fun.
Yeah.
One of the things I haven't done with an apostille yet are vital documents. And I'm going through my notes of the training that we did with Judy, I don't know, it was a year ago or so. Can you just give me a refresher on vital documents, like a marriage certificate is what this person called
Vital
me
records?
today? What's
So
that?
vital records.
Vital records.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what is it you need direction on?
Marriage certificate. Is that a federal document?
And no. And you know what? I would love Matt to unmic himself and to address apostees when it comes to vital records and what the typical procedure is.
Sure. Thanks for the question, Peter. So vital records are state level documents and should be sent to the Secretary of State of the state where they are issued for apostille. There is a caveat. Vital records need to be signed by a public official. So sometimes, particularly when it comes to birth records or even marriage certificates, they could be a short form, which is not a certified copy. So though you'll need to make sure that that marriage license has been signed by a public official, the county clerk or registrar. And then birth certificates are sometimes signed by a doctor, a medical doctor, and that's not a public official. So when that occurs, you need to take it to the county clerk's office where it was issued, have it certified at the county level, and then it will be accepted at the state level for apostille.
So like the one that just called me today, I asked her if it was an original document. She told me it was. Does that satisfy that need of being a public official?
Don't know until you look at it.
Yeah.
Because most people, members of the public, don't know what they have. So what I do is I ask them to send me like a picture of the bottom part. That way I can see who exactly it was issued and signed by. And if it's not a registrar or county clerk, then either it needs to be certified at the county level, or they can order a new certified copy of their marriage certificate, and then that can be sent to the secretary's office for apostille.
From Vital Check, is it?
It's usually what I send my customers to, vitalrecords.com.
Vital Records?
Vital Records, yeah.
Or if they're local, they can just go in.
Yeah, if they're local, they can go in and get it same day.
Mhm. If they're getting another one, if they're local, they can go in and, I know in my county, it's $20 and that's it. I walk in and I've done it. I've done the service for them because they allow me in Stanislaus to accept a vital record that belongs to somebody else when I bring it in for authentication, and then I'm able to move it on. So you can see that they have lots of options, but I love what Matt said, which is get a picture of the bottom half to see who's signing it. It needs to be a public official. When somebody says they have an original birth certificate, I would be very doubtful if it's an American birth certificate, because none of us have our originals. What we have are certified copies, and the originals reside with the county. So if she has an original, either it's a foreign birth certificate.
This is a marriage.
It doesn't go through, or marriage certificate, I'm sorry, marriage certificate. It's either foreign or in the marriage certificate. I don't think we have the originals, do we, Matt?
No, that's considered a vital record. So the original is held by the county clerk.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's the other thing, is look for that. So like a raised image that it is one signed by a public official, that it's a certified copy. And when somebody says they have an original, either they don't know and they say, well, it's got that raised image. Well, that doesn't mean it's, that just means it's a certified copy.
Right, got it. Okay, very good.
So I think, thank you, Peter. And I think what's a really important lesson here is that the public does not necessarily know what they have. And so asking them to text you what it looks like so you can check it yourself, because you know what? That's what they're paying for. Otherwise, you're just a courier, right? You're paying for that little extra knowledge and expertise to make sure it gets to the right place, or that you didn't send it when it couldn't be done and they got to start over again because the Secretary of State isn't going to give them back their money.
Right, very good. Thanks a lot.
Beautiful. Great question, Peter. Thanks for doing that. Pam.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. And I'm from Tennessee.
You're Lindsay?
Yes, I know it says Pam. I'm using someone else's Zoom thing, so sorry.
And you're from Tennessee?
I am. Yes, I was just gonna see if you could speak about the trust delivery agent program. And my question regarding that is, I'm like brand new, so I'm just now on getting my certification from NNA for the signing agent. So obviously I would like to diversify and do that because I understand the benefits, but it's a little overwhelming starting out to do all the things all at once. So do you have any advice on how to a flow that seems cohesive but not overwhelming?
Sure, Lindsay. So I'm just going to start with the basics. First of all, do you have any training to know how to be a notary? Do you know how to notarize? Are you familiar with your certificates? Do you know what you're doing there? Okay.
Yes.
So that's one.
Yes.
Right? That's where you start. The next thing is you're going to choose a path. Now you've paid to be certified as a signing agent. I'm assuming that's the path you want to go. I would get through that path and I would not be trying to ride two horses at the same time.
Right.
That's what you're doing, then that's what you should do, and wait on the trust until you've gotten yourself through that certification and you know what's expected there. Then, right, so you need to nail it. Nail it means go through it, pass the test, get a job, know what you have to do to get that kind of work. Now you scale by adding other types of programs to that, because the signing agent nor the trust are going to teach anybody how to be a notary. They're going to teach you a specific specialty types of documents. Hey, does not teach you any marketing at all in theirs. It's all really about what the industry's about, and they'll share with you some sample documents. The trust program does, it's like 20%, 25% are documents. These are the common documents. And 80% is about marketing and how do you do that? And how do you reach out to attorneys? It's also about ethics. And it's got a lot more information to it. So, and some of it may apply, but most of it won't to loan signings because it's a different ballgame. With title and signing services.
Gotcha. Would you recommend, because I know, like, I guess I feel the pressure of wanting to do it, because, you know, you get the emails and it's like, you have this month to, like, you know, at this, like, to start out. So would you, I guess for the fee is what I'm talking about, to get the training from y'all.
Oh, so let me just announce, because an email went out that we got a little bit over our heads and we decided to just extend that. So yeah, so we extended it to August 31st, the same fee for the TDA program. So you got another month. The deadline was yesterday, and then we decided, oh my God, there are people that didn't even find out about it in time. They didn't want to make a decision in 24 hours. So we extended it for another month. So now people have till the 31st of August to make up their mind.
Okay.
And since you've asked the question, let me just talk about the trust program, and Jen's going to put in the link, a link in the chat if anybody's interested in finding out more about it. Jennifer Neitzel, Bill Soroka, and myself developed this last year a trust certification program, which included not just, well, here's the documents, because a lot of trainers do that. They say, well, here's the documents, but then they don't teach you, well, how do I get in the door? What's the lingo? What do I need to say? How do I make relationships in the legal area? So that's what we did. And I would say a good 40–50% of it is in that area to help you figure out how to get that business, what to do, what are your actual steps. Then there's a section that goes through the most common documents. And I actually walk you through. You'll see the document on the screen. You can download it and walk through the documents. There's a video of a mock signing in there, so you can see what it looks like to have a notary present the trust book to the client. There is an ethics section, and then there is a verification of your knowledge, which means, yes, there's an exam. You got to pass it 85% or above. You can't, the good news is if you didn't pass the first time, you can retake it as often as you need to. And there's only one certification. You do it one time, you're certified. You don't have to worry about every year that you're going to have to recertify. So for those who are interested in, you know, leveling up their game in the area of trust, and some of you may have had trust assignments before, which means you work through the assignment with whatever it is you did know how to do, but you probably don't have the marketing part of it. You may not have the rest of it. And so that's why we developed that, to help notaries know how to work competently in that area and give them a choice besides loan signings. I'm not saying anybody should stop doing loan signings. If you're getting assignments, you should be doing that. If you've got relationships there, you should be doing that. This is an add-on to that. And what's lovely is that it doesn't require us to worry about what the market is doing, where interest rates are, because it's not tied to that. So that's what I've been doing trust work, particularly for 12 years of my 20 years being a notary. And that's why I moved more and more of my business there. And I hardly do any loan signings anymore. I only work for those I've had long-term relationships with, because this is just like steady for me. And I don't have to work that hard at it. And I don't have to have 100 companies. I only have about, I don't know, 6, 8 attorney legal plan companies that feed me trust work. So there you have it, guys. If you're interested, there's a link for you and you can find out more. Okay, now that was, and since we're at halfway point, that was one of my announcements. Of course, the other one is, you know, in June, we did this big Independence Day special, and we said, hey, we're going to separate Tom from NBB coursework. And so, and that was $58 a month instead of whatever it was you were paying, the full price. And if you're interested in just one or just the other one, you can have one or the other or both. So all you got to do is go to the link that Jen is going to put in the chat for you. I think it's notarycoach.com/NBB. And you can see what that's about. Oh, and by the way, anybody who is NBB member and is thinking about doing this, there is a significant discount only for them. If you're NBB, you need to go to your dashboard and there you will find the coupon code. So please don't share that with anybody else because this discount is only for those who are paying their $58 a month with us. We gave them a discount. All right. That takes care of that one. I don't have a link yet because I don't think it's out, but I just want to put out there in the universe that Bill, myself, and Jen Neitzel are going to be the stars of the next NNA Summit. We are the summit. They're not using any other speakers. And we're going to be doing that October 19th. So when I have a link for you to check that out, we will get it to you. But I just want to put it in the horizon. It's a half a day, like 4 hours maximum. And it'll be the three of us presenting different topics. So that is what I want to say about that. And the last announcement is our book. And so those of you who've already purchased it, those of you who've already read it and told us how great it's been for you and helpful, thank you. Thank you so much. And that's what we wanted. We wanted to bring something of value that was accessible, easily accessible. That would be from Bill and myself. And so I'm really grateful, and Bill is very grateful that you jumped in there and did that. And if you haven't bought it yet and you were kind of waiting, I don't know, just know it's available. I think it's $2.99 on Kindle on Amazon, or you can get the paperback, which you might end up wanting because we have all kinds of worksheets in there to help you work through what's on there. And one of the most important things, a couple important things, one is I did a lot of work on the pricing and allocating of money that you get, and gave you a framework called RIMSA to help you build your business. And then the last thing is for those, I'm going to go back to those who've already purchased. If you haven't done the review yet, since we started this call with reviews, I'm going to ask if you haven't, I would love to get a review on Amazon. I have 75 stars and we need, or 75 stars. That's a rating, isn't it? 75 reviews. And we're trying to reach that 100 mark. That is like the secret algorithm mark to get Amazon to refer our book out. When somebody buys something similar, they'll say, hey, have you thought about this book? So that's what we're working towards. And that's it for commercial time. We're going to go back. I hope that gave some people a chance to think about their questions so that they're ready to go. And Larry, do you have a question? Beautiful. Go ahead and ask away. Are you you're muted, even though I don't see it. Try muting and unmuting. How about now? Can't hear you at all.
Probably need to check your mic setup with Zoom.
Yeah.
Because it's not coming through, my friend.
Down in the bottom where the mic is, there's a little caret next to it. Check to make sure the right microphone is selected. Sometimes our computers are possessed and they just change their mind. Okay, well, I'll let you see if you can figure it out. You might also have to go out and come back in, but I'll come back to you. I'm going to go over to John and then I'll come back to you. Okay, John, I see your hand is up.
Last time I had a question, but I got into the 2 cents thing. So now before I get to my question, I want to throw in another 2 cents to Pam. She asked about the certified trust delivery agent course. Pam, it's worth every penny. I went through it 5 times. I went through you get to download a whole trust package. And so I went through that and understood everything. And because of that, this is why I say it's worth every penny. I got to school a signing agency. You won't be able to see it. Anyways, on the first page of the HIPAA release form, there's a thing that says on the top effective date where you put that. And then it says the underlying individual authorizes disclosure of my personal information, my protected health information. And then it goes through the pages of, everything. And then on the last page is the signature. You can't. Anyways, on the last page is the signature. They wanted me to go back to have them sign their signature where right next to the effective date. And I'm like, no. The sentence says the underlined, which means that everything that comes after this statement, their signature is on the last page. And so they had to get in touch with the attorney, and the attorney said I was right. So brag.
Yay. Doesn't that feel good?
Yes.
I love hearing that.
Just for that. Okay, so I bragged already. Here's my question.
Yes.
I have a scenario. I would like to read it, and then you can tell me what can be done.
Okay.
The signer would like you to place his team under oath. He has no written statement. His team captain has spoken a set of rules. He recites, and then he wants you to place his team under oath. What are you able to do?
Yeah, you're able to put them under oath. An oath does not have to have a written statement and signature. It's just a spoken promise of truthfulness. So they would all, raise their hands. The team leader would say what it is they're swearing to. That's the oath itself, right? And they all have to affirmatively then say, yes, I so swear, I affirm something to respond to that. And the oath is delivered.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But it is a notarial act, which means it needs to go, every one of those people need to go in your journal and you need to get signatures for them.
Oh, so
Yeah,
if there's
if-
25 people,
Yeah,
if there's 25 people on the book, on the team, 25 signatures go in the book?
that's right. With 25 IDs and 25, you know how it is in the journal. And the name of the document or the name of the notarial act is oath. And the name of the document column would be whatever the oath was about.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, Larry, let's try you again. No, is the volume up on your laptop? And you've picked the right one. Do you have an earphone in? No, you don't have an earbud? That's the extent of my technical knowledge. You've exceeded what I know how to recommend. The other thing I can recommend is to put your question in the chat and I'll have Jen or Matt bring it up for you.
We got your back, Larry.
Okay, in the meantime, while we're waiting for that, Faith? Hi, Faith.
Hello, Laura. Hello, everyone. I would like to piggyback off of John's question about the 17 people being placed under oath. So placing all of them under oath would be, I'm in Texas, so it would be $6 to place everybody under oath.
It'd be for each person. Each person is taking an oath. There are 25 different people or 17 different people. It's for each one. I had to give an oath to you, to you, to you, to you, to you, to you. The fact that we did it at one time shouldn't make any difference there. So how is your wording? How is your wording in Texas? It's $6 for the first signature and an acknowledgement?
Yes, yes.
And then is there a reduced price for the ones after that?
$1.
$1.
Well, yes,
So
yes.
then look for an oath and what's the pricing? If it just says $6, then there's no reduction for the subsequent ones.
Okay, so if you are placing someone under oath, they're not signing a certificate, right?
That's right. There is no certificate to sign. An
But
oath is just a spoken promise of truthfulness. Now, If they had a written statement or a written oath that they wanted stamped and signed by the notary, now that's fine. We can do that as well.
Yeah, I was just piggybacking off of John's question because that was, that was interesting. So if you're doing a collective oath, you're still charging them $6 in my state per person that took the oath, although
Well,
it was one.
And remember, you're in Texas, we're in California, we have to journal every one of those as separate, not as a collective. Now, he could give the oath over and over and over again to each one of those people. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah. It was just an interesting question. Okay, thank you.
And I have done that, not that big, where it was like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. So Faith is good. Did Larry put in a question for us?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so what is that?
He said, sorry about his mic acting up. He did a buyer packet last week and it had the Patriot Act form in it. Usually from what he's seen and been told, we don't notarize that, just sign it as being the person examining the ID, but this form had a place for the person to sign and notarial box. Incorrect for California though, so I attached my own. Was that a correct thing to do?
That was correct, because even though 99% of the time we don't have to notarize, we're acting in the capacity of a signing agent, there is a version of the Patriot Act that allows for a signature for the signer, and then there's notary wording that follows. And then if it's not good notary wording for you in California, of course, you would replace it. So you got the 1%er. Okay, very good. Thanks for getting that asked, because other notaries may not be aware of that. Okay, let me get up here to the top. Faith is done. How about Rosie? Hey, Rosie.
Hi, Laura. How are you? Can you hear me?
Good. Yeah, I hear you. Great.
Okay, I'm at the pool, so I just figured come on. I wanted to ask a question because I'm really interested about that oath. That scenario that John and the young lady after him talked about. But I had a question. I'm going to put that to the side. I had a question because I was doing a I-9 employment verification form, which is not a notarial act.
Right.
But the person couldn't understand why they had to come in my presence. And I explained that to them, I had to verify this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. So she says, well, who is responsible for making sure you're above reproach? I was like, oh, wow, that's a heck of a question. And so all I could say was the state of New Jersey. But I didn't know how to answer that. And that was the first time somebody have ever said something like that. So who does make sure we're above reproach outside?
It would be, Rosie, it would be your hiring agency, if that's Secretary of State or the governor's office, depending on what state you're in, who manages the notaries, because part of your job description is that you're a trustworthy person to even hold the of the notary. And in some states, they go further and do a background check as well. So you're a person of integrity, a person that's been deemed as trustworthy to hold the office, and the person who decided that, or the organization, would be the one that manages notaries, which 90% is Secretary of State. For some states, it's a different office.
Correct. That's the state for us. That's the office for us. So thank you for that. I did say the state of New Jersey, but I wanted to get a little deeper, in answering that next if somebody else asked me that question. But I want to go back to the oath thing because I was a little confused. You know what? I'm going to leave that for next week because I want to get my thoughts around that.
Okay.
But I want to go back to the raised and the certified seal for those vital statistics record. I was confused because it said I wrote raised/certified. What is the difference, and how would I know what the difference is?
So on vital records, those public officials have a seal, like we have a seal.
Right.
Says we're a notary, right? And so they're going to have a seal that crimps the paper, just like our embosser would crimp paper. And
Right.
that's how we know we're looking at the original certified copy. That's
Okay.
because we can feel it. You might not see it on a text. So you might have
Right.
to ask your client, hey, can you feel where that seal is? Can you feel it?
Okay.
Because that's what makes the difference.
So that makes it an original. And then the certified one,
Hey,
it
no, that
might
doesn't
have,
make, it makes it, Rosie, let me state it again.
okay.
It doesn't make it an original vital record. It makes it an original certified copy of the vital record.
So
You
what
understand
makes,
the difference?
right, so what makes an original?
That's the one that's in the county clerk's office.
Gotcha.
We don't have it.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, great. Okay, got it. Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking those questions.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we still got a few minutes, guys, so I'm gonna encourage anybody to ask a few more questions, but I did see a pop-up on the comments that caught my eye about, can we notarize an I-9 in California? So first of all, nobody can notarize an I-9 anywhere. Doesn't matter what your state is. And then California, you cannot handle it at all. We cannot touch them. We cannot do anything with them. So if you're in the state of California, even though they're not notarized, even as just a private citizen, if we hold a commission, we're not allowed to be that verifier, just so you know. Okay, so Michael has his hand back up.
Yes, so I thought that an oath would fall under the purview of a jurat.
So every state has an oath, and then they have a jurat or an oath upon verification. So an oath upon verification or a jurat is about a written statement that then they take an oath to say, yes, what's written, what I signed is true and correct. An oath is a spoken promise, and it may or may not come out in the public the way this one was, where you could make money. A lot of times an oath can be separate, like a credible witness gets an oath, right? That's an example. When you give testimony in court, that's an oath. It is a notarial act. And if this team has something they have to take an oath about, it can be all by itself. If they had a written document they had to sign, then it becomes a jurat or an oath upon verification. But an oath is its own standalone act.
Okay, I'm still a little confused about that. So,
Well, they're two different acts.
okay, so they're
There's a
just speaking
spoken
an oath, they're
promise.
just asked them to speak an oath. And the other one was administered in a court or a legal setting.
Or it could be, I've had clergy come to me. My oath of office as a notary. So there's been times when I've delivered an oath and the act is an oath, not a jurat. And so of course, in California, we can charge the same price. It's $15 for an oath, even if there's no document.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. You probably won't get asked to do an oath very often. That's probably a very unusual request. Okay, I see. Oh, Janet Thompson.
Hi, hi Laura. I'm Jeanette Thompson from Michigan, and I've been bugging you guys. I did the certification for the certified notary trusted delivery agent. I went through all 44 lessons complete, and when it came to the quiz, it keeps popping up correct. In the lower right-hand side, correct errors and try again. Now, I did get a text and they told me to try a new browser because I was in Chrome. Yeah. And I tried Microsoft Edge, and I tried Firefox. Same message keeps coming up. It won't let me take the quiz.
Okay. All right. Well, Jeanette, I'm not the technical person, so I cannot help you on TNT today. But what I will say is if you would email orders@notarycoach.com and let them know what your problem is and what you've tried to do to resolve it, the right person can get in there and figure out why there's an issue and try to help you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
Super fantastic. It's a great day.
Good to see you. I just wanted to suggest to Jeanette that she could try clearing her cookies.
Hmm.
And that what is it called? The data. But if she clears that, then the form will like reset itself and it may show up.
Ah, okay, the
Okay,
cat,
thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
the cache. Both of those sound funny. Clear my cookies, clear my cache. I don't want to get rid of any of my cache. I like it right where it is. Thanks, Lisa, for offering that assistance. Okay. We are just a few minutes away from bringing this call to an end. So you do, if somebody has a last minute burning desire, and yeah, yes, Terry, that's funny. As long as I don't toss my cookies. If you have a burning desire to ask a question, then now's your chance. Otherwise, there'll be another whole week. But I do, while I'm waiting to see if anybody does, the other announcements, if you're NBB people, if you're brand new, there is an orientation at 2:30 today. And for everybody else that's NBB is our weekly accountability call, and that's at 3 o'clock. All right, so NBB members, 2:30 orientation, 3 o'clock. And again, it'll be Jennifer Neitzel and myself today. Usually Bill's on that call too. But today just didn't work out for him. All right. Now, I'm happy to close the call a few minutes early. If nobody else has a question that they want to ask. Matt and Jen, you taking care of everybody who asked you something and you took care of it in the chat? Nothing hanging there? Oh, good other announcement. I forgot about this. Notary Masters is this Thursday at 9:30 a.m. And I don't know the link. Sorry about that. But
I
that's
put it in the chat.
okay, great. So Notary Masters Thursday, I will be there. I'm going to be given a tip of the day. If you don't want to miss that, then you need to show up. You don't have to be a member to come visit a meeting. So if you've ever thought, what is that? You could just come and be a fly on the wall. You don't have to do anything. You can just enjoy your time with us. Right? Okay. Faith, I see your hand back up. And she'll be our last.
Yes. My burning question is, I'm still confused about the apostille using the crimper and the ink stamp to be used overseas. So I'm told that you use both of them, that the crimper carries weight internationally, but you should also add your stamp, your ink stamp also. So is it on the certificate?
Yeah. So Faith, tell me your state again.
Texas.
So here's the deal is I believe you're required to ink stamp your certificate. You cannot go without a stamp. So that's just the requirement. If it's going to be apostilled, Texas allows for the crimper device or an embosser, you can put that on the pages in addition to the stamp, as long as your state allows it as an addendum to your ink stamp, because your notarization is not valid without your ink stamp. And yes, you're right. Foreign countries do love that crimping device. They think it's the most official, even though that's not your official stamp. Your official stamp is the ink one.
Okay, but you said pages. So all of the pages of the documents that being.
Yeah, when I handle a document that's going to be apostilled, because I know it's going out of the country, I use my crimper device on all the pages in the corner. They don't even get the full circle sometimes because I don't have enough space. You have to put it where you can't put it over any printed material. So I put it in the corner, and then my ink stamp goes at my signature.
Right.
And that's how I do it. Now, there's a state, Montana does not allow for an embosser. So that's a state that can't use it. It's against the law there. All right. But most states can allow it. So you'll have to see. The other thing is that if the embosser can be used in your state and it's not required to have ink on it, it could be used instead of an ink stamp, then it's an official stamp and you cannot put it on every single page. The only reason I can do that is that it is If I don't put ink over it, it is not considered my official seal.
Oh, okay, because our embosser does not have all of the information that the stamp has.
Right. So you just need to, you might want to call your Secretary of State's office and verify that you can use your crimper device, your embosser, on all the other pages for documents that are going out of the country, and reserve your ink stamp for your certificate.
Exactly.
Right? That's how I do it. And you should be able to do it that way as well in Texas, but you're Texas, so you might want to. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. You're welcome.
Okay.
Well, we've come
Well-
to the end of our tour here together. Thanks for being with me. Over 100 of you are still here with us. Thanks for coming. We'll be back on next Tuesday at the same time, same link. Bill will send out a reminder to you. And I hope you guys all have a great week. And I hope I see some of you later today in the NBB calls. Meantime, take care. I'm going to stop. Now you can wave because I'm going to stop recording.